wonder, sir, who can realize all these dreams?
I can, madam. I can promise you that.
You? And by what right?
In my position as a governor, I can promise you every word that I said on behalf of all the white citizens in this country.
I, from our part, can promise you anything, Mr. Oliver. Because no one of my people has delegated to talk for him, and I can't take the responsibility.
Was that?
Can you then lead us to the right man to whom we can talk about such subjects?
No one can do that but the people themselves. It is only the people who have the right to decide its future.
And all that it's connected with its future life.
But this is impossible. How is it possible for us to get the collective opinion of the people?
How do you like listening to the people's grievances?
But how? And you close all the doors in our faces.
They can give you their opinion through a committee they choose and elect in their own way.
Although I don't understand what the doctor is talking about, I can understand at least that they want to discuss the matter with the committee, because Amado does not have the right to discuss things.
Exactly.
Yes, but how and when and where can I meet this committee?
I think Dr. Amado can inform you about that at the shortest possible time.
One condition. For justice's sake, I want Major Strong to be tried for murdering Billow.
What?
But I think that...
That will be the rebels' answer for what you want, and the trial should be in public, or the revolution shall continue. May I leave?
I see the man is right, Oliver.
How? After all that you've heard?
He's our man, and we must surely do what he says. My information on him was 100% right.
Would you mind if I ask something, sir?
Easy, Professor. I'll explain everything. I think I've already explained my view. That is, the change we are looking for is only in form and not in context.
That is understood.
The old picture of imperialism must vanish, and the new picture must take its place. A picture that carries certain symbols of freedom, of independence, pictures, symbols, so on, so forth, you know.
Yes.
We must put these things in a new perspective, where we want, especially in controlling the country, its treasures, and even the human beings living in it and working on it.
What is most important is the way in which we can apply this theory, don't you think?
The application of it must begin, first of all, with a serious change. A change that fills the eyes and ears of those citizens. If we look to the actual situation in this country, if we look to it very closely, I mean, well, then we can see that the whole situation helps in starting off this very change. Stone's condition does not allow him to practice his job again.
But we have carried out the change some time ago.
That was temporary. We must make everything legal now. That is one of their requests.
I think I understand. Through elections, for example.
Elections or plebiscite, anything like that, and then there is Major Strong.
What about him?
He too must be replaced. He's one of the old faces that the people hate, and we have to replace him. I think that he has provided the very basis of the excuse which justifies his own expulsion.
Is it Billow's case?
Exactly, my dear Spark. One has to make sacrifices. We'll have to give the blacks the proof of our goodwill.
I am afraid that negotiations can only bring detrimental results, and we will have no alternative but to accept.
This is my last word. Inside this case, I already have the outcome of the same negotiations before they even get started. We know what we want. As soon as they sign these documents, we can secure the right to control the economy of the whole country.
Do you think that they are so stupid as to agree to all that you said?
They want freedom and democracy. They want to run their own affairs, and so we will give them freedom and democracy. We will give them the chance of running their own affairs. We'll give them the democracy they want, even if it's only a formality, a mere formality, Professor. We will give it to them. The people who planned all this, they are some of the cleverest persons in the Western world. They who have long experience in this field. They give these blacks colorful ideas that match their likings, and in such a way in which they cannot understand it. They will like it from any angle they look at it. Everywhere. And now, we'll have to decide on what to do first.
How are things going, Doctor?
Oh, very well indeed.
Oh, thank God 1,000 times for your safety stone.
You still have a good heart. It saved you.
Do you hear? I have a heart made of stone, even though I'm over 50 years of age. Doctor, you didn't tell me what was wrong with me, that you had to perform an operation.
It was a sudden strangulation caused by tightness in the blood vessels. Well, but anyway, you don't have to be worried about it anymore.
I don't want to hear more, please. When can he leave this bed?
In the shortest possible time. But he needs rest at home for some time now.
Physical rest or mental rest?
We shall talk about it later.
Tell me, what have you decided? Time passes quickly.
You are right, couple. We'll have to stick to an idea. Really, I'm recalling what Oliver said, word by word. I'm trying to come to a conclusion on which I can build up my final conviction.
You want to know what is hidden behind Oliver's generous offers?
Exactly. I can't believe all what he said. If it is true, or they are really convinced with it. If it all came so suddenly to embrace social justice and freedom. These people can't change overnight, just like that.
Then, let us act quickly and join the rebels. I can't wait anymore.
No doubt they have planned and studied it with care, because the professor can never deal so easily with Oliver. I think someone gave them the idea.
Jacob! Yes, it's Jacob. Why didn't I think of it before all this time? You are right, Miriam. No doubt he's behind it all.
But who is this Jacob?
I'll talk to you about him later. What is important now is to find him soon. I must know everything. Do you understand? Everything!
Capo, where are you going? It's very late and you will get nowhere.
You didn't tell me who this Jacob is. What's his identity?
Do you want to know who Jacob is? He is...
All that I've mentioned to you, Mr. Stone, regarding your health is the kind of food, the drinks, etc. I would like at this point to point out something more important. In fact, it is more important.
Very well, go on then.
You must prevent yourself from thinking about anything that makes you think.
That's too much of a puzzle.
What I mean is, you shouldn't listen to things that make you angry, like reading bad news, or listening to the Politic Bulletin, and so on.
How can I pass the time, Doctor?
Listening to music. Classical music, and to all that makes you feel happy and relaxed. Don't worry.
Don't worry, Doctor. I'll help him. I'll just tell him all the jokes in the world.
And I'll remind him of our past years and tell him all about our engagement and marriage and all about the noisiness of his old Auntie Sally.
Frankly, sir, you must be away from all that makes you angry and frustrated and try to relax. As for visits, let them be to a minimum. Excuse me now, but I must go. I come to this visit every now and then. Bye-bye.
Where have you been, my dear friend? Many things had happened while you were away.
I was indisposed because of the prison incident. You know that I am not used to things like that.
Don't worry, Capo. The situation was so difficult for all of us. And now, how's Miriam, your wife?
Not bad, as she always is.
Didn't she tell you about her visit here with Amado?
Mm-hmm. I heard them speak about the subject. But I didn't bother to enter into the conversation because it was not so important. In fact, I came here to see what was going on.
Listen, Capo. All that we planned in the past is to be put into action now. The forces which are backing us are much stronger than we had thought they would be.
Really? I think Mr. Jacob is the one who was behind it all.
Of course, my friend, of course. He, in fact, represents a great economic and financial force in the West. They are ready to support us in everything. We can soon become a free, sovereign country, had it not been for those rebels who are destroying this country.
That weakens our position in front of Mr. Jacob.
I tried so hard with your brother Amado in order to interfere with those rebels, but he simply wouldn't listen.
There is no need for such details, Oliver.
Welcome, Mr. Jacob. When did you come?
Listen, Capo. Are you our partner in the diamond mines? And do you have the share in the profits as well?
Of course.
Consequently, you'll have to protect your own shares and your own money. Is that clear?
What do you mean?
You know, as well as I know, how close Amado is to the rebels. The fighting must stop at once, and Amado must lead the workers to the mines and the factories and the farmers back to their fields.
But what can I possibly do?
You must try to convince Amado.
Yes, but I mean, how can...
I'll make it easy for you. Oliver, make all the necessary arrangements to get the major court-martialed. Court-martialed, yes, for killing Billow. That was one of the conditions Amado had to initiate negotiations with the rebels and to bring life back to normal again. It is important to start, and when they end, things will settle down. What are you waiting for? Get moving. Thank God for your safety, sir.
Thank you, Strong. Victoria and Anne told me how you stood beside them while I was away in the hospital.
That was the least I could do, sir.
Can we offer you something? Would you like some tea?
Thank you. I only came to see Mr. Stone and to talk about things that concern us all. That is, if Mr. Stone doesn't mind.
I'll prepare the tea.
I wouldn't mind a cup of tea myself.
Frankly, the matter concerns us, you and I.
I think I understand. Have you finally agreed to accept Strong's request?
Can't we discuss this topic some other time?
This is a suitable time, madam. What do you think, Miss Anne?
Very well, Strong. Very well. Let's not talk about it. Anne seems to be rather tired now.
Maybe we should wait until Stone's health improves a bit, at least.
I insist on declaring my engagement to Anne at once. That is my right.
How dare you speak like that, Strong? What right are you talking about?
Daddy, please, take it easy.
I did everything to save your life. And you
you speak to me this harsh way?
But that doesn't give you the right to behave impolitely.
It is better for you to leave this place at once.
I gave you a healthy heart that gave you life. I gave you Stone alive. How ungrateful you...
Get out, please. My father's too ill for all that.
But what are you talking about, man?
I forgive you. Completely. You have really changed, my dear governor. You don't know that you are living with another man's heart. And you are speaking his language, too.
What did you say? Are you crazy?
I am saying that we threw your rotten heart away and we transplanted the heart of another man. Do you know who it was? He was a black man. A black man. Did you hear me? You are white with a black heart.
A black man's heart? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?
Stone, please, calm down.
No, a black man's heart.
Daddy, don't believe what he said.
Victoria. No. Black man's...
And call the doctor, quickly.
Who told you to come here?
I'm sorry, sir. I came to inform you about this order.
They fell into our trap.
Surely. I am now their messenger to you.
That's what I was afraid of. Well, what information could you collect from them?
Frankly, Oliver almost was going to explain to me every detail. If it hadn't been for Jacob, he came in suddenly and started talking about my part and how I had to convince you to start negotiations anew.
Then, Jacob thinks that I can do something.
He insists on that. Listen, Amado. Jacob, as I understand, is more than a businessman or a company representative. I think he is much more than that.
But economy and politics go together these days, don't they?
I can assure you that he makes a part of a big imperialist international institution.
It is international Zionism, my dear couple.
America and Zionism.
We have to play our game well. It is much more serious than you think. He looks to Africa like a hungry animal watching his prey.
Jacob's first scope is to bring the country back to normal and stop fighting. We must not forget that negotiations means for them only to save time so that they can control things the way they want and gradually get rid of any opposition.
That is America and its modern politics in some of the third world countries. We shall never permit them to practice this game here. Never.
And now, what did you decide, Amado?
I am not the one to decide, couple. We only have to lay this information before our brothers, the rebels. And they have to get to a conclusion, and they have to choose the members of the People's Committee, which will have the capability of carrying out the negotiations.
Did you say negotiations?
Yes, my dear. Negotiations. You'll have to follow the game with those professional politicians, according to what they've established, while We have to reorganize ourselves and get ready to continue our armed struggle on the road of independence and freedom.
That is what we all say, Amado.
Get ready. Get ready, Miriam, to meet our brothers, the rebels, while I prepare a detailed message of what we have agreed upon.
Black heart. Black heart. Black heart.
Frankly speaking, things are not very promising. The patient has a strong attack that has left its marks on his subconscious. He shouldn't have known that his heart had been changed with another.
It was that stupid major.
I asked you before not to tell him about it. You should have done as I told you.
No, strong is more than stupid.
And you want me to marry him? What a disaster.
No, don't do that. I don't want it. No.
Please, calm down, please.
Black heart. Black.
How long would his condition last, Doctor?
Frankly, we're facing it for the first time. Please try and calm him down as soon as possible.
What do you think if we call Dr. Amado?
He was humiliated in this house once. I don't think he'll come now.
The things are serious. I must try at least to...
I prefer if you go yourself.
I say I don't see why not. I think he didn't go to the hospital since then.
Where can I find him?
He has nowhere to go but his brother's home.
Very well. I'll try to convince him.
Congratulations. I must congratulate you on your grade and new responsibilities. From now on and until further notice, you should consider yourself Deputy Police Director.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for this honor.
I sincerely hope that this will be the beginning of a new career for you in the new government.
I hope I can do my job well and please you all.
How would Major Strong feel, or if he heard or saw disappointment?
He will be disappointed, of course. His days are over, just like the days of his master, Mr. Stone.
By the way, how is Mr. Stone? Health-wise, of course.
His condition is very bad, after Strong had told him that his heart was not originally his.
How did you know this?
Strong himself told me when I gave him your orders. Told me all about it while we were going to his office. Let loose with his tongue and went on insulting and mocking everyone.
His office?
I arrested him there.
He must be imprisoned at once.
Frankly, I couldn't just drag him from his headquarters directly to prison.
Put him in prison at once and before it is too late. Go on!
Very well.
I think a visit to Mr. Stone would be most appropriate. What do you think about that, huh?
It is true that my father didn't die because of another, Doctor. But it was not his fault anyway. It was his destiny.
You want me to sell my conscience and admit the crime that they had committed in hospital, not only against Billow, but against all humanity? Isn't that what you want?
I ask you in the name of humanity. You have sworn, Doctor, when you were graduated, that you wouldn't hesitate to help all those who needed your help, irrespective of their nationality or race.
When we see with our hearts and not with our eyes, we can see human feelings away from maliciousness and envy. We see human beings apart from the color of the body, and only then, it's only then that you ask me to adhere to the oath of hypocrite.
Let my father be. His past is his own, and you cannot change it. If you save him, you'll make me and my mother happy. Maybe if he's cured in your hands and with the heart of that poor boy, maybe he will have a yearning to do some good. Some good for his people, Doctor.
How poor is personal happiness, or even the happiness of minorities. If happiness isn't for all, a happiness that all the society feel, then it will be like a rich enjoying their wealth at the expense of the poor. Human culture is indivisible, miss.
Do I understand that you refuse to see my father, Doctor?
Yes, indeed. I'm sorry.
You became racist just like my father.
Me?
Yes, sir. He holds up a white flag, his symbol of racialism, and you proudly hoist your black one contrary to all human principles.
We must learn. We must learn to follow our principles and not simply enjoy preaching them to others. Go with the girl. Melt away all the icy bitterness that fills your heart.
Thank you.
Fools! Beat them until the black blood comes out. I am giving the orders. It is I, Major Strong, who says that. Where is the duty officer? He must inspect the prison so that no black man can escape. I'll kill you all if you fail to trace these black rats. You'll not get away with it, Stone. You'll not get away with it. I'll get rid of you, and I'll be the governor. As for you, my dear Anne, my darling wife, I'll make you queen of this country. Yes, a queen. Queen. Queen.
Then his state is not very well, madam.
Not at all, Professor. And I'm afraid it will get worse.
Shall we call other specialists from Europe or America, madam?
Stone's life interests us all.
Thank you for your concern, gentlemen, but Anne prefers to call Dr. Amado.
'Dr. Amado?
'Dr. Amado. 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 'Dr. Am
Amado? But I mean, did he accept to come, or...
She went for him, but she hasn't returned yet.
And who is taking care of Stone now?
It must be the same doctor who saw him in the beginning.
No, he left a few minutes before you came. Poor man. He was absolutely exhausted because he stayed here for a long time.
Do you mean that Mr. Stone is alone in the room?
Don't worry. He's sleeping heavily, even though the sedative is not having any strong effect on his body anymore. The doctor had to increase the dose so that he could have more rest.
Stone is black. Stone is black.
No, that can't be. No.
Black. Stone is black. Black. Stone is black.
No, get away from me. Get away from me. I'm Stone. Why thousands of fathers are...
Here is Dr. Amado at last.
Welcome, Doctor.
Good evening. Where is Mr. Stone?
In his room.
I am so happy to see you visiting a white patient.
It is my duty, anyway.
I can consider this a good omen for our negotiations. Oliver put Major Strong on suspension. He's now in jail awaiting interrogation, which will surely take him to court.
That is correct.
When can we start negotiations? We are surely ready.
Scoundrels. Criminals. How dare they plant the bell of hate in my chest? It will ring in my body as long as I live. But what kind of life shall I live with the heart of a black man? Black man? It will also control my sentiments. It will force me to see things and judge upon them the way he used to do. Yes, he will change my principles when he sends his signals to the calls of my brain. He'll give orders and commands. I shall have to obey him. I shall be my own enemy. My own enemy.
Black. Stone is black.
Black. No, stone is black. No, 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 never, never, never. No, 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 never, never.
It's my father.
Everything is over, I'm sorry.
Thank God for your safety, son. Thank God.
Mother, I have been longing to see you, Mother.
How terrible is the night when the light goes out.
Here you are. Here you are, Capo. The plant grows only in its original ground. Miriam has told us everything.
Miriam. She was the one who kept telling me day in, day out to go back to my roots.
Here you are back before it is too late.
Yes.
I'm happy to be one of you. Do you have the people's demands with you?
Yes. It is all here, Amado, and in every detail. It is what the free people want.
We must begin our work then. We must unite our ideas. We're approaching the 0 hour.
You'll see here, gentlemen, within this file, the essential paragraphs and items that we should discuss in our next negotiations with those citizens. No, not now, please. The matter needs more than just superficial reading. You'll have to read every detail in this file within the next few days, when we should meet again to discuss everything that needs explaining between ourselves and completely.
Frankly, I wanted to spend my vacation this year in Europe. It is a long time since our family got together. I mean, I don't think I'll be able to take part in the negotiations. At this crucial stage, your opinion and expert advice are essential.
Actually, we don't need speculation or even experience. This file was studied according to the highest levels of politics and economy. What is wanted from you is to translate it into work.
In that case, then, there is no need for me, my dear Oliver.
But I insist that you should be here. At least your face is familiar to them.
You will find that some articles seem to be for the benefits of the blacks, like participating in the government, etc. I hope that such articles and items won't disturb you unduly.
Do I understand that you wish us to memorize only the articles and phrases that are in this file so that we can recite them during negotiations like a poem?
My dear Spark, you know, in today's politics, it is not essential that one should be a leader under the spotlights, when one can move those lights on whosoever one wants to be a leader. That's all I wanted to make clear. And you can find it between the lines of the contents of this file.
What's important is that negotiations should succeed according to the plan.
It must succeed, gentlemen. The secret societies with which we deal, and the international companies which form part of it, has the power to impose what they want, and in a method which is suitable for every situation. In peace or war.
I'm so sorry to leave you, madam.
Thank you very much for your sympathy, Professor.
I say that with all my heart. I consider you as one of my family.
This is life, my dear Spark. It has been cruel to us.
I wish you could stay here, madam. You know, your presence will...
Well, you know Anne's persistent desire to return to Europe, Spark.
That is true. But, wouldn't you come back at least after a while? I mean...
The days have proved that a country which does not belong to you is not your country. It's not for you. And not even for your children.
Where is Anne?
She's packing, ready to leave.
You mean tonight?
After a while, Lieutenant John will come to accompany us to the airport.
But why is all this hurry, madam?
Less curious eyes in the dark, Professor Spark.
Good evening, Anne.
Good evening, Professor.
I wish I could leave with you.
That day will soon come, Professor. Things here are not what they used to be.
This is true. I think I'll join you soon, very soon.
I am Major Strong. It is I who have a grip on every black neck. It is I who invented all kinds of torture until we could dominate every corner in this country. It is I who made the blacks run. It is I who tamed thousands of niggers. Thousands. It is I, the first policeman in this black jungle. It is I who send the fuel of culture to Europe and turn the wheel of industry there. Where are you, owners of diamond and coal mines? Where are you, Stone? It is I who gave you the heart.
the heart of your enemy. You can't live without me. You can't. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I?
Actually, I didn't expect your visit, my dear Capo.
You mean you didn't expect to find him on our side?
I don't think you really want me here. Even when I worked along to serve your needs, I never felt myself anything but a servant from the lower class.
We are gathered here now in order to arrive at a solution to enable each one of us to stand where he wants and on equal footing.
He can stand at least on his wife's side. No doubt he's nearer to her than all of you, whatever the results.
Let me first introduce to you Mr. Jacob. Many of you have known him before. He's the man who shall deal with the economic matters in these negotiations.
Do these negotiations have more than one side? That is, to get rid of racialism and realize the freedom of our people who have been oppressed.
Yes, and therefore you can consider him as our consultant in our plans for the economic and industrial activities for this country.
That is in addition to his wide experience in capitalist circles and international companies, and other services he can offer us in the near future so that they can recognize us as an independent country.
So this confirms that we are negotiating not only with the settlers here, but with all the Western white world.
Very well. I know everything about them. Let us get to the subject at once.
There are three major aspects to the problem, and I'm sure you will all agree. First, we should eliminate all forms of color discrimination, wherever they exist. Second, to form a mixed government between whites and blacks. Third and last, to arrive to a certain standard so that this country would be recognized internationally. Of course, we shall make a constitution for this country that will regulate all that I've mentioned.
The elimination of all forms of color discrimination will not be sufficient unless class barriers are broken down completely.
I think that such a problem should be seen in an economic context.
There are no politics without economic organization or planning, while the Constitution articles must provide for the formation of a mixed government in line with the nature of our people and the land.
We must be assisted by international legislators in order to put the Constitution for this country. We can make use of the United Nations' help in this field, which will help you to become a member of the World Organization as well.
If the Constitution of the country doesn't originate from the will of the African people, how can it be realized that it has its power to command? We, my dear, reject any organization to help us in determining our people's will, even if it were the United Nations itself.
You speak as if our people here in Africa have all the modern culture and knowledge which enables them to stand on their own 2 feet without anyone's help or without even world experience, especially technological and industrial experience, which I'm talking about.
You want to find a way to our resources and how to exploit them.
Exactly. You know better than anyone else. It's impossible for you alone to utilize your underground resources to the full. like extracting coal.
You mean uranium? I know that you'll agree on anything. Equality, independence, freedom, anything. As long as you preserve the right of exploiting our natural resources.
Will you bear in mind, Jacob, and let anyone who shares your ideas bear in mind, too, that we, despite the fact that we don't have much of international expertise, we shall never turn to Europe or America.
We wouldn't kick out the imperialists from the door so that they can come back from the window under the slogan of AIDS and experience.
Then what are your proposals?
We are pinning hopes on the free African countries who have preceded us in various fields. There is a reciprocal hope in the widest scope of cooperation between us and these countries.
Don't you think that they are exaggerating the African potential?
If by Africa you mean all its various countries, what I mean is Africa, which has its own roots and far-fetched dimensions of civilization.
Here are our final suggestions. Study them well. Either you accept them as they are, or things remain as they are, even by the use of force through threats or extortion.
We know what we want, and we would never succumb to anyone. Africa has woken up from its long sleep, and we have known that freedom must be taken and not given. We shall fight, fight, until we achieve our aim, our real freedom, freedom of the whole people of Africa. We will fight till we achieve victory and real freedom. Freedom for the people of Africa. Oh, Africa, your gold decorates the neck of Europeans. The fruits of your soil nourish European bellies. The masks of your grandfathers embellish the galleries and the museums in Europe. Even your music is intoned by the Westerners. Oh, Africa, you starving, deceived, and tormented one. Oh, Africans, with iron ore, with your raw materials, Europe arms itself to fight you.